What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. This is actually episode 179. I ran the wrong intro. What's going on, Jonathan, Trisha, Christina? Kevin is here. Lisa, Kim, Karen, Paul. Thomas is joining us. Rihanna is here. Matthew, Elsa, Donna. What's up, Sean and Marcy? So I have taken you guys on deployment. So cheers to you guys. I am doing the show live from the outdoor patio of a bar in North Carolina. Elsa, Donna, Marcy, can you guys hear me okay? Because we're on the Wi-Fi at the bar. I got the wired headset going. The Moscow Mules are the same. But you guys got to let me know if it sounds okay. I know the streaming quality is probably not going to be as good as it is when I'm actually in the war room. What's up, Jared? Christine? What's up, Ash? Monica says hello. Jamie? You guys got to let me know if it sounds okay. So late last night, I got on a plane and came down to North Carolina. And I'm here for the next couple days because Keith says, "What's up, fuckers? Can hear you fine," says Jonathan. Okay, that's awesome. So I'm here for the next couple days, actually because of my husband. You guys know that he's home from his deployment, and he is taking over at his new job now. And so there is a big ceremony tomorrow. It's called a relief and appointment ceremony, and he takes over at his new job. And so the family is all here. A lot of his friends have traveled, and so we're all here to support him at this ceremony tomorrow. And so I had to take the show on the road. So I spent some time this afternoon. I got preempted on my radio show on the Pike because it was opening day at Polar Park for the Woo Sox. So I put the whole show together, and then I ran the wrong intro to be able to tell you guys that I was on deployment down in North Carolina. So we're taking the show on the road. So we've only done it a few times. We've taken the show to the boat a few times with the full production. But we actually coerced the bartenders to put the Bruins game on. And so there's a bunch of us from Massachusetts here at the bar. And we're watching the Bruins game. And I haven't eaten my dinner yet. So I wanted to show you guys the beautiful tacos that I have to have dinner tonight. And I got my Moscow Mule. So cheers to you guys. So thanks for hanging out with me. For anybody that's new to the War Room, welcome. The show is named after the war room in my house, and normally that's where I hang out with you guys every Tuesday night at 8:30. This is episode 179. The show started back on March 14th of 2020, and we're at 179 episodes now, and it's insane that it's been that many. And now that I know that I can kind of pull this off lean and mean and just take the computer and a headset and hit the Wi-Fi someplace, I might actually start doing this more often because it's pretty badass. It was 80 degrees down here. It's beautiful. You are skipping and freezing. Oh, no. You can tell you're in Worcester. Matthew, I'm not. I'm in North Carolina. I'm not in Worcester. The tacos are delicious. Is that Jayville in the background? Well, you put two and two together. I'm down here for a Marine ceremony in North Carolina. Odds are pretty good I'm in Jacksonville. Crappy Spectrum Wi-Fi. No, Matthew, I'm not in Worcester. I'm in North Carolina. Yes, I am in North Carolina, Keith. Carrie, have you had a chance to listen to the new Five Finger Death Punch Afterlife yet? It is amazing. Sean, I totally agree. We got to talk about Five Finger on the show tonight because they announced their tour dates today and a massive tour that goes on sale this coming Friday. So I got to tell you about that. But I'm sure the show's not going to run as long as usual. So we got a ton of stuff to talk about. Happy belated birthday to Wednesday. Donna says her 4th birthday was yesterday. And looks like you're eating something more filling than jelly beans and Twizzlers than you get in the mail for dinner. Brianna says, yeah, I'm eating tacos, which, by the way, are delicious. And we just had some fried cheese curds, which were so good. Um, Hoping you didn't get stuck with the wingers. No, I made it down late last night. So I was on the air yesterday and flew down late last night. And I had debated trying to do the show at the hotel. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to try and do it at the bar. Everybody else is at the bar. Everybody's back there. And I said, I'm going to go sit in the corner. I had to get creative with the camera angle because the Bruins game is on and I can't have the audio and I can't have the video of the game because we'll get shut down. So we got to talk about everything that's going on because, like I said, the show's probably going to be a little bit short tonight. So I want to show you some pictures first. I got a new addition to MCHQ. So I have a friend that went to college with a girl that you can find on Instagram called Acts Personified. And she actually has an Etsy shop and she makes puppets. And she's the one that made Muppet Mistress. And so I got Muppet Mistress first, which you can see in this picture right up here. And then I got Animal, and then I got Dr. Teeth. And so this year's contribution to MCHQ, I got Janice from the Electric Mayhem. And she's awesome. So I'm slowly building up the whole band and collecting all of my homemade Muppets. If you look really close, Animal has an AAF shirt on, and Dr. Teeth has a Mistress Carrie shirt. And so she can customize them. So I want to say thank you to her and to my friend Matt for adding to my Muppet collection. I get the hiccups. Adding to my Muppet collection because she's pretty awesome. So in MCHQ, I have chairs with microphones that I can have guests at, and I have Muppets in all the chairs. So I wanted to show you guys that I got an addition to the MCHQ Muppet collection. All right, we got to recap last week's podcast episode, which was episode 96, and it featured Jeff Keith from Tesla. By the way, the Pike is presenting Tesla at Indian Ranch coming up on July 31st. Tickets are on sale now. The details are on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. And I talked about in the episode, like Tesla has long been one of my favorite bands. And I think they got unfairly kind of looped in with the hair bands. And they're not a hair band. They've never been a hair band. They're like a southern kind of rock band that just came out at the hair band kind of late 80s time. The first time that I saw Tesla in concert was in 1986 at the Worcester Centrum opening up for Bon Jovi. But I have been a Tesla fan for years. I've talked to Jeff Keith and the guys from Tesla in the past. They played acoustic on my former radio show. So when I found out that they were coming and playing at Indian Ranch in Webster at the end of July, I wanted to have Jeff on the show. And I loved having him on the show. He is such an amazing guy. And he definitely, when he did the impression of the turtles from Finding Nemo, I was like, oh my God, he really is the Catch the Drift dude. Like, he is, even though he's from Oklahoma and he's a country boy originally, he does have that kind of California vibe to him where he's just super chill and really relaxed. And he couldn't be sweeter. And he is a lover of music. He loves performing, and he's super passionate about what he does. And I could talk to him about music forever, and I loved having him on the podcast. Ken says, I went to school with that girl right there. Who'd you go to school with, Ken? With the girl that makes the Muppets? Did you hear the Imagine cover with Julian Lennon and Nuno that they did for Ukraine? It's unbelievable. I wanted to talk to you guys about that too. It's so good. Speaking of Nuno and Indian Ranch, Extreme is playing Indian Ranch in September, and those tickets go on sale this Friday, which is up on the event calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Bruins game is getting chippy. I know we're watching it here in the bar right now, Ryan. Seth says, hi. Eat your tacos. Some of the guys are watching the show. Stalkers. Let's see. Have you heard the new Dropout Kings with Head PE, Hey Bartender? It's amazing the collaborations that are happening right now, which is really cool. Yeah, the Imagine cover's great. And what blew my mind was that Julian Lennon, we were just talking about his birthday, I think last week, he turned 59. And I was like, oh my God, Julian Lennon is 59. Had John Lennon still been alive, he would be 80, which is just mind-blowing to me. I went to school with Animal. Oh my God, Travis. Carrie, did you? Oh my God, no, Mark's just commenting, did you see Gilbert Gottfried died? No, I didn't see that. I've been running around all day, so I haven't been in front of the computer like I normally am when I'm sitting in MCHQ. Oh, Gilbert Gottfried died. I always loved him. Let's see. 3 Days Grace is playing in Boston soon. I'm excited about that. Well, they're playing the big gig at the end of this month with Godsmack, Black Veil Brides, Wage War, Lilith Czar. That's going to be on April 30th at the DCU Center, which Mike Shue and I are going to be hosting. Let's see. Matthew says Gilbert Gottfried passed after a long illness. I had no idea. Oh, man. I always thought he was freaking hilarious. So anyway, so having Jeff Keith on the show and just talking to him, the first thing I did right off the bat, obviously, was talk about the recording of Signs and 5-Man Acoustical Jam and the connection that had with WAF. And some people had said, well, I had heard that was a rumor. Oop, there one of the cops. In a Dodge Charger, by the way. And so I wanted Jeff Keith because people with Mistress Carrie backstage passes, that was their question. They wanted to know. And so he told the whole story. And I thought it was really interesting that they recorded an acoustic show and they just sat on the recording because they didn't think they were going to be able to do anything with it. And that it was the in-studio acoustic performance of Signs at AAF and the response that it got from the listeners that got the label motivated to want to actually release the performance that they recorded in Pennsylvania and Philly. And that's the live album, 5-Man Acoustical Jam. But it never would have gotten released had Tesla not played Signs on the air at WAF and had the AAF audience, which is you guys, have such a response to it. So I thought that was really cool that Jeff Keith was so willing to give WAF the credit for being the springboard for the groundswell of all of that. Christine says next Friday, Godsmack is here in Tampa, and then in Saturday in Orlando. Can't wait. Christine, thanks for hanging out with us in the War Room from Orlando. If anybody is joining us in the War Room for the first time, you got to let us know in the comments. And you also got to let us know where you're watching from, because obviously the War Room is starting to go everywhere because, well, I'm in North Carolina right now. Just like Simple Man, Christine said, exactly. So that is episode 96 of the Mistress Carrie podcast. If you haven't checked it out yet, you can check it out everywhere. I also want to let you guys know who is going to be on the podcast this week. This week it's Ben Johnston, the drummer from Biffy Clyro, who is this guy, the bald guy on the end. Actually, Biffy Clyro has the Johnston brothers in it, who are twins. The drummer and the bass player are twins in the band. If you don't know a lot about Biffy Clyro, they are huge in Europe. They've been a band for like 20 years. They're from Scotland, and they headline massive festivals in Europe. And they are coming to Boston on April 20th. They're going to be at Big Night Live. Dead Poet Society, who's been on the podcast previously, is going to be opening up the show. And I just recorded this episode with Ben the other day, and he was in Scotland at home. And we had a great conversation. I had never talked to the band before, but I knew they were coming to Boston, and so I wanted to talk to them. And we hit it off and had a great conversation. Come to find out, the Johnston family, who's from Scotland, actually has family in Grafton, Massachusetts. So he was very familiar with the Boston area. Biffy Clyro's come through town several times, and we talked about a lot of stuff. And one of the things that's really fascinating about this episode is that he was talking about how him and his brother, as twins, have that weird twin thing. And as the rhythm section in the same band, they have that kind of weird twin communication. And I wanted him to talk all about that in this week's podcast because I have twin aunts and they're identical twins. And anybody that has identical twins in the family knows twins do twin things that don't make any sense. And so I was really curious if the Johnston brothers did that kind of stuff, especially being in a band and performing live, and they do. I'm out of the loop. Where are you? Richard wants to know. I'm in North Carolina at a bar because there is a ceremony for my husband tomorrow on bass that I had to come down to. So I took the show on the road and we're on deployment at a bar in North Carolina with a bunch of my husband's friends, a bunch of guys from Massachusetts, and we're watching the Bruins game in a bar right now. And I said, I'm doing the show from the bar. So this is fun. Lean and mean, no lights, no microphones, no nothing. I'm on deployment. Let's see. Hashtag twinning. Exactly. It is very weird for twins, said Elsa. And it's totally true. They just do weird twin things. And so we talk a lot about this in this week's episode. He is just super cool. He was very candid about his battle with depression because of COVID. And he's one of the first musicians that I talked to that didn't kind of retreat into his music and into his instrument while he was locked down at home. He actually kind of shunned it and was very candid about how it was emotionally painful for him to play the drums because it reminded him of the concerts he couldn't play. So we really kind of dove into the other side of being a musician and getting locked down during COVID and what that was like to have the lifestyle he's used to kind of taken away from him. So I thought it was a really interesting perspective. I'm actually still on the computer. It's just there's not a lot of light down here, so it looks like I'm on the phone, but I'm not. So that's episode 97, Ben Johnson from Biffy Clyro. They are playing at Big Night Live, coming up on April 20th. All the details for the show are up on the events calendar, and the episode goes live coming up at midnight tonight. Now, I will tell you that when you subscribe and follow the podcast, you also get the sit reps, which you got today. There's an abbreviated sit rep tomorrow, but then the sit rep will be off the rest of the week because I can't do the sit rep while I'm on the road. So there is going to be an abbreviated sit rep tomorrow, but normally when I'm back at MCHQ, you get all your rock news, music headlines, industry info, all of that stuff in 5 minutes, and you get it every weekday. But later on this week, you're not going to get the sit rep. Oh, thanks for the lighting. Somebody's backing up in the parking lot because I'm on the road. I want to remind you of all the places that you can check out the podcast. The audience of the podcast is growing, and we're watching the numbers go up and up this year over last year over the second 6 months of 2020 since we launched the podcast in June of 2020. And we are still holding strong at 130 countries that are listening to the Mistress Carrie podcast actively every week. And Canada, our neighbors to the north, are still number 2. Definitely helped by the guys from 3 Days Grace, because Neil Sanderson was literally tapping maple trees on a snowmobile on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, which totally helped my Canadian audience. All right, I want to go through some of the announcements just announced today. We were hinting about it earlier. Five Finger Death Punch, Megadeth, The Who, and Fire from the Gods are playing the Xfinity Center coming up on September 18th. Those tickets go on sale this Friday. Also going on sale this Friday is Extreme, playing at Indian Ranch in Webster in September. So those tickets go on sale. The Evanescence and Corn Show, those tickets went on sale this past Friday, so they are on sale now. That's August 26th. Hailstorm, The Pretty Reckless, The Warning, and Lilith Czar are going to be at the Leader Bank Pavilion on July 19th. Collective Soul and Switchfooter at Indian Ranch on August 6th. Those tickets are on sale now. Shinedown and Jelly Roll with John Harvey will be at the Xfinity Center on September 13th. Weird Al is all over the place. He's got a bunch of shows around New England. They are all up on the events calendar. The most recent to get announced is Indian Ranch on August 5th. Alice in Chains, Breaking Benjamin, Bush are going to be at the Xfinity Center. That, I believe, is the last show of the concert year. That's on October 8th at the Xfinity. Offspring will be at the House of Blues on May 15th. Slash, the Live in Boston live stream, is coming up this week. And it's the show they just played in Boston at the House of Blues. They recorded the whole thing, and the live stream is getting released on April 15th. I got the link up in the events calendar. Rob Zombie, Mudvayne, Powerman 5000, and Static X at the Xfinity Center on July 30th. An update got released from the guys from Shinedown today. They are delaying the release of Planet Zero. The album was supposed to come out April 22nd. But according to a video that the band released on social media, they're pushing the release of the album back to July because they want all the physical copies of the album to be able to be produced, and that includes the vinyl. They didn't want to release the album digitally and then release the physical copies later. They wanted it all to come out at the same time. And so Planet Zero is not coming out until July. Then there's the new Hailstorm, Back from the Dead, which is coming out on May 6th. And then the Knotfest Roadshow, that's coming up fast. May 21st at the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence, May 22nd at the SNHU Arena in Manchester. Breaking Benjamin and Seether with Starset, and also Lacey Sturm from Flyleaf. They are going to be at the SNHU Arena coming up on April 22nd, so that show a week and a half away. Pussifer is going to be at the House of Blues in Boston on June 28th. Jack White, who just got married on stage, he proposed and then got married within 15 minutes on stage in front of a hometown crowd in Detroit. There is cell phone video that's up on YouTube. So congratulations to Jack White, who just released a new album and just got married on stage on Friday. Royal Blood's going to be at the House of Blues on May 24th. Ringo Starr and his all-star band are all over the place. Boston, Worcester, Guilford, New Hampshire, Providence, Rhode Island. They're playing Tanglewood. They're everywhere. ZZ Top's going to be at the Leader Bank Pavilion coming up on July 22nd, and that's the same day their live record Raw comes out. Ryan says, congratulations to your husband, and as always, thank him for his service. So he's not getting promoted because he is a sergeant major, so he can't get promoted anymore. But it's a ceremony for him taking over his new position. Once he got home from his deployment, he's now taking over the job he's going to have for the next couple of years, and the ceremony is kind of a big deal. And so that's why I'm down in North Carolina. And let's see, Flogging Molly and the Interrupters are going to be at the Leader Bank Pavilion on July 1st. Jerry Cantrell, that show already happened. There's a typo. Cheers. Typos on the screen. You got to drink social. Turnstile is going to be at the Palladium May 21st. I was just talking about Biffy Clyro and the Dead Poets Society at Big Night Live on the 20th. Dorothy is also going to be on in Boston on April 20th. She's going to be at the Paradise Rock Club. Black Crowes are going to be at Tanglewood at the end of June, June 29th. Blondie and the Damned are going to be at the Leader Bank Pavilion on August 14th. Apocalyptica and Lacuna Coil are going to be at Big Night Live on May 3rd. Candlebox Unplugged is going to be at the Cabot Theater on May 6th. And please don't forget, coming up next weekend is Record Store Day on April 23rd, and that is the day to celebrate and go and support your locally owned brick and mortar record stores. And there are a ton of releases coming out. That's very loud. And you can get the whole list if you go to the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. I just want to remind you about a couple of the events. The end of the month, the big gig is finally happening April 30th at the DCU Center. Godsmack, 3 Days Grace, Black Veil Brides, Wage War, Lilith Czar. Also, the Pike Hair Fest is going to be July 30th at Indian Ranch, which is an absolute blast. And then the next day, the Pike presents Tesla at Indian Ranch on July 31st. So all of this is on the events calendar. Mail call we can't do this week because I'm not home. But there's the address. I'll be back in the studio by the end of the week. So we'll be back in the war room next Tuesday. Yes, I'm drinking, guys. Watch how you word things. And yes, it is very big. Very funny. Ann Wilson is going to be at the Cabot in July. And she's also coming to Indian Ranch in Webster. So there's a ton of shows coming. Want to remind you guys that you can get Mistress Carrie merchandise at Joe's Albums, and this is a great place to go on Record Store Day. It's right on Main Street in Worcester. There's also a location in Northampton. You can go to joesalbums.com, but if you're looking for a brick and mortar, locally owned record store to support on Record Store Day on April 23rd, Joe's Albums in Worcester. It's literally down the block from the Palladium and right around the corner from the DCU Center. And it's a great locally owned record store, and Joe knows his shit, and so does his staff. Okay, birthdays. Celebrities born on this date: Tiny Tim, Herbie Hancock, David Cassidy, and also Art Alexakis from Everclear were all born on this date. And a happy belated 4th birthday to Wednesday. Her 4th birthday was yesterday. I wish that I were in the war room so I could turn the pug cam on, but she is at home with Grammy. And I am in North Carolina drinking Moscow Mules. I also want to welcome Crystal and Des, the newest Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass holders. If you don't have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you can get one on Patreon, and it gives you a lot of behind-the-scenes access. I'm keeping a travel blog and kind of letting people with Backstage Pass holders kind of know what's going on here in North Carolina. You get exclusive live stream that we do every month. You can submit podcast interview questions. You get the travel blog. You get access to a ton of free tickets. So right now, Backstage Pass holders have access to Pussifer tickets, Breaking Benjamin tickets, Royal Blood tickets, Knotfest tickets, and Rob Zombie tickets. But there's more tickets coming. And you just get early access to a lot of gossip and behind-the-scenes news. And you also get discounted merch in the online store. The tank tops are not far from being delivered by T-Shirt Brian. And when they come in, Backstage Pass holders are going to get discount codes to get tank tops as well. Happy unbirthday to Keith. I'm so sorry. Happy unbirthday, Keith. The hell was I thinking? Okay. I want to remind you guys of all the places you can find me on social. Here are all of my links and all of that stuff. And is he leaving? Are you leaving? Where are you going? Oh, okay.
Are you done?
No, I'm still doing the show. That's why I'm like, is he leaving? Oh, all right. Everybody else is still here, so it's fine. Here's all the places you can follow me on social, obviously, and all of those links are at mistresscarrie.com. And that's pretty much it, guys. It's an abbreviated war room tonight. I apologize, but I wanted to take you guys on deployment, and I want to be able to take the war room, even though the show is literally named after the room we usually do the show in. I want to know that I can take you guys on the road with me and be able to do the show wherever I'm at, because I don't ever want to cancel the war room, but there are going to be times, concerts on Tuesdays, where I'm going to have to take you guys on the road. So Michael says, sheesh, can't the guy go to the bathroom? He's running over next door. People just arrived at the hotel. He wanted to let him know where we were. So there you go. All right, guys, that's the end of the show tonight. I apologize that it's abbreviated, but my tacos are getting cold, and we have to get up super bright and early because for some reason the military does ceremonies really early in the morning, and I don't understand why. You need the gang to hide you. Yeah, I know exactly. So at least we were able to watch the Bruins game tonight, which was really cool. So I will be back in MCHQ by the end of the week. The new episode featuring Ben Johnston from Biffy Clyro goes live at midnight tonight, and everything goes back to normal next week. So I will see you guys for episode 180 in the War Room next Tuesday. And if you got a backstage pass, I'll be sending you guys more travel blogs and keep you updated on what's going on. Bye, guys. Greetings from 80-degree North Carolina. Cheers to you guys. I'll see you guys later.